Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. The death toll rises slightly as the relentless wildfires in Southern California continue to burn. The key factor today, an update on containment. And President Trump's nominee for defense secretary wins over a key senator for confirmation. We take you to Washington, where senators grilled Pete Hegseth on his thoughts on women in the military, as well as about his personal life and judgment.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
We'll have the latest on the deadly wildfires in California coming up. But first, we have breaking developments this morning out of South Korea. After weeks of avoiding arrest, South Korea's impeached president, Yoon Suk-yeol, is now in custody after a massive law enforcement operation earlier today. Investigators with the country's anti-corruption agency arrested Yoon for questioning in multiple criminal investigations related to his short-lived declaration of martial law in December, including accusations of leading an insurrection, a crime punishable by life imprisonment or even the death penalty in South Korea. Following his arrest that saw around 3,000 police officers descending on his residence, Yoon released a pre-recorded video message calling the investigations illegal, saying rule of law in this country has completely collapsed, and adding that he was only agreeing to cooperate with the investigation to prevent violence. The embattled president had been holed up in his fortified residence for weeks, surrounded by his presidential security team as he avoided arrest. Officials say so far Yoon has refused to answer investigators' questions or comment and won't allow the sessions to be recorded. The anti-corruption agency now has 48 hours to request a court order for a formal arrest on a charge of attempting a rebellion or release Yoon. If Yoon is formally arrested, investigators can extend his detention to 20 days before transferring the case to the public prosecutor's office for indictment. South Korea is a key ally of the United States, as the U.S. has nearly 30,000 troops stationed there. In addition, President Joe Biden hosted Yoon for a state visit in Washington back in April of 2023. Back here in the U.S., the National Weather Service is warning the Los Angeles area is not out of the woods yet. Even though winds were not as strong as expected yesterday, they are forecast to pick up today with a dangerous situation warning in effect from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. local time for parts of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Evacuation orders are in place for 88,000 Los Angeles residents. About 90,000 others are in evacuation warning zones, which means they might need to leave at a moment's notice. A total of 6 million people are under what is called a critical fire threat. This as the death toll from the fires has risen to 25. The Eaton and Palisades fires, which have now been burning for a full week, are the most destructive and second most destructive wildfires in Southern California history, respectively. The Palisades fire remains the largest, scorching nearly 24,000 acres of land. It is only 18% contained. But that does mark a small improvement from yesterday's 14%. You see all these flames. The Eaton fire spans about 14,000 acres and is now 35% contained. And the Auto fire in Ventura County has grown slightly from 56 to 60 acres. That fire is 47% contained this morning, according to CAL FIRE's latest update. CNN is reporting this morning there are a total of 5 fires currently burning in the region, with winds forecast to hit 70 miles an hour later today and overnight. In Washington, Senate confirmation hearings continue today for President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks. The proceedings kicked off Tuesday with Trump's nominee for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's 4-hour hearing in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Our political reporter Ray Bogan has a recap from Washington.
The Committee on Armed Services.
Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth appeared before the Senate Armed Services Committee Wednesday, where he was grilled about his past behavior and qualifications. Hegseth acknowledged mistakes he's made, which according to accounts include infidelity and excessive drinking.
I'm not a perfect person, as has been acknowledged. Saved by the grace of God, by Jesus and Jenny.
He also said many of the accusations against him, which include sexual assault and financial mismanagement, are false smears.
All they were out to do, Mr. Chairman, was to destroy me. And why do they want to destroy me? Because I'm a change agent and a threat to them because Donald Trump was willing to choose me, to empower me, to bring the Defense Department back to what it really should be, which is warfighting.
The hearing got extremely personal when Senator Tim Kaine brought up an incident that took place in 2017 in California. A woman accused him of raping her at a hotel during a work event. He said the encounter was consensual. He was never charged by police, but signed a non-disclosure agreement.
I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
Republicans came to Hegseth's defense and painted him as a good man who's been redeemed.
How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down?
Democrats went back on the attack about his qualifications and about his previous statements regarding women in combat.
Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal. I mean, you're basically saying women, after they have children, can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say.
That was also an important issue for Republican Senator Joni Ernst, who's a veteran.
As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high.
After the hearing, multiple Republicans came out to share their support for Hegseth. They expressed confidence that he'll be confirmed.
Our Ray Bogan reporting. Late last night, Republican Joni Ernst told Fox News she will vote to confirm Hegseth. She had been on the fence going into the hearing, and many Democrats had hoped she would hold out and vote no. Her support for Hegseth could put him over the top. The hearings continue today for several other nominees, including Trump's picks for Attorney General Pam Bondi, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Elon Musk, one of the heads of President-elect Donald Trump's newly created Department of Government Efficiency, is facing a new lawsuit over his social media company X. The suit comes from the SEC. Here's Straight Arrow News reporter Lauren Taylor with more on what this has to do with his ownership stake in the company formerly known as Twitter.
The United States Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against tech mogul Elon Musk, claiming Musk failed to disclose his stake in social media giant Twitter during 2022 in a timely manner. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO purchased Twitter in October 2022, later renaming the platform to X. Earlier that year, Musk started purchasing Twitter shares. The complaint alleges Musk owned more than 5% of the company by March of that year. The SEC says Musk was required by law to disclose his Twitter holdings and alleges Musk did not disclose this information until April 4th, 11 days after the beneficial ownership report due date had already lapsed. Musk saved at least $150 million at the expense of Twitter shareholders by failing to timely file the beneficial ownership report, according to the SEC. In a post on X, Musk responded to the lawsuit, calling the SEC a totally broken organization, defending himself, saying, "They spend their time on blank like this, when there are so many actual crimes that go unpunished." Musk's lawyer called the lawsuit against Musk a sham, saying in a statement to the Associated Press that the suit is an admission by the SEC that they cannot bring an actual case since Musk has done nothing wrong. Meanwhile, current SEC Chair Gary Gensler, who has been serving in his role since 2021, plans to step down from his position on January 20th when President-elect Trump takes office.
Lauren Taylor reporting. As we mentioned, since Donald Trump appointed Musk to co-lead the Department of Government Efficiency during his second term, it is unlikely the incoming Trump administration will pursue this lawsuit. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is suing Capital One, saying the bank misled consumers about its offerings for high-interest savings accounts and cheated customers out of more than $2 billion in interest payments as a result. The lawsuit, filed on Tuesday, focuses on Capital One's promises and handling of its 360 savings accounts. The Bureau says despite promoting 360 Savings as an account that provides one of the nation's highest interest rates, Capital One froze its rate at a low level for at least several years, even as interest rates nationally rose. The CFPB says at the same time, Capital One created 360 Performance Savings, which saw a much higher rate growth, but did not notify 360 Savings account holders about this new offering and instead, quote, worked to keep them in the dark, end quote. The lawsuit alleges the company marketed the products similarly to obscure their distinction and banned employees from proactively telling those with 360 Savings accounts about the 360 Performance Savings. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is seeking to impose civil penalties on Capital One and provide financial relief to those impacted. With the wildfires in California affecting so many people and uprooting people's lives, entertainers are coming together to hold benefit concerts to support the victims. Ringo Starr is taking the famous song lyric, "I get by with a little help from my friends," very seriously. The former Beatles drummer is holding a two-night concert this week in Nashville, featuring guest performances from Jack White, Sheryl Crow, and the couple War and Treaty. Funds from the concert will be directed to the American Red Cross. The concert will air as a special on CBS later this year. Meantime, Live Nation is gearing up for its benefit concert titled Fire Aid to be held on January 30th. Sources tell TMZ the response from musicians has been so overwhelming that the event will likely be held in two different venues, the Intuit Dome in Inglewood and the Forum. Live Nation is expected to announce the lineup within days. When you think about Farm Aid and some of these other concerts that were promoting great causes like We Are the World, you can only hope that this one is big as well. Those are your Unbiased Updates for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.